Hello, my dear students, and welcome back to our video on statements and arguments. In this particular lecture series, we are discussing about a very important topic of logical reasoning, which is statements and arguments. And we are going to continue with the topic that we have already covered, that is the tips of statements and arguments. And in this particular video, we are going to solve some questions which is related to statement and argument so that you can understand that what type of questions is being asked in the competitive examination. और ना ही सिर्फ क्वेश्चंस हम लोग समझने की कोशिश करेंगे कि किस प्रकार के क्वेश्चंस आते हैं कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशन में, साथ ही साथ हम लोग ये भी समझेंगे कि स्टेटमेंट्स और आर्ग्यूमेंट्स का रिलेशन किस तरीके से डिराइव होता है बेस्ड ऑन द टिप्स दैट वी हैव ऑलरेडी स्टडीड. So without wasting any time, my dear students, let's try and understand that how we are going to pursue the areas of statement and arguments whenever we are going to take any exam into consideration which is related to logical reasoning. The images used in our slide deck are for educational purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creator and the owner of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in this deck or have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. So my dear students, I hope every one of you are doing well and you have understood the previous videos and you have understood that what exactly are statements and arguments. If you have any confusion or you are new to our video series, then I would request you that you kindly go through the previous videos, which is on the statements and arguments, so that you can understand the concept and how we are going to pursue the statement and argument questions in our competitive examinations. So in this particular lecture series, we are talking about statements and arguments, my dear students. And in today's video, we are going to solve some questions which is related to statements and arguments based on the directions that has been provided. So the directions that will be also mentioned in your competitive examinations, whenever there will be any question which is related to statement and argument, will look like this. That each of the statements or the questions consist of the following two arguments, argument 1 and argument 2. So each of the following questions consist of statements followed by two arguments, 1 and 2. And then you will have to choose that whether only one argument is strong, only second argument is strong, either 1 or 2, both are strong. Okay, so A means 1, B means 2, C means both, D means neither, if neither 1 nor 2 is strong, and E means both 1 and 2 are strong. So in C it will be either 1 or 2. क्या A हो सकता है या B हो सकता है, दोनों ऑप्शंस हो सकते हैं. इसमें होगा सिर्फ एक हो सकता है, मतलब कि जब आप लोग ऑप्शन नंबर सी के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं तो दोनों स्टेटमेंट में से कोई एक स्टेटमेंट स्ट्रांग होगा क्योंकि दोनों एक दूसरे के कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी हैं. कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी. So both the statement 1 and 2 are strong. Okay, both the statement 1 and 2 are strong, but it is in such a manner that if one statement is true, if one statement is strong, so according to the statement, we cannot take into consideration the second statement, second argument, although that argument is also correct. Okay, so in that area, it will be either 1 or 2. अगर एक दूसरे से कॉन्ट्राडिक्ट करते हुए आर्ग्यूमेंट्स हैं, पर दोनों आर्ग्यूमेंट स्ट्रांग है, जो कि जो स्टेटमेंट दिया हुआ है उससे मैच कर रहे हैं, लॉजिकली उसको फॉलो कर रहे हैं, बट अगर एक आर्ग्यूमेंट को हम लोग एक्सेप्ट करते हैं तो दूसरा खुद ब खुद नेग्लेक्ट हो जाता है. वहां पे हम लोग ऑप्शन चूज करेंगे ऑप्शन नंबर सी को, जो कहता है आइदर 1 और 2 इज स्ट्रांग. और अगर दोनों आंसर सही होंगे तो हम लोग चूज करेंगे ऑप्शन नंबर 5 को, जो कहता है बोथ द आर्गुमेंट्स आर स्ट्रांग, मतलब दोनों के दोनों लॉजिकली फॉलो कर रहे हैं जो स्टेटमेंट को. और अगर दोनों में से कोई फॉलो नहीं करता तो हम उसको बोलेंगे नाइदर 1 नॉर 2 स्ट्रांग. ओके, सो 1 is option one argument is strong, only one is strong. Option B means argument 2 is strong. Option C means either 1 or 2 is strong. D means neither 1 nor 2 is strong. And E means both are strong. So now based on this question, based on this direction, let's try to figure out that what exactly is question number 1. My dear students, and I would request you that you kindly keep a pen and paper handy with you so that you can also solve the questions along with us, so that you also get a clear idea that how we have to solve the questions of statements and arguments. तो सबसे पहले जैसे हम लोग क्वेश्चन पढ़ते हैं, my dear students, सबसे पहले हमारे को स्टेटमेंट समझना बहुत जरूरी है. तो when we are reading question number 1, the statement which says should number of holidays of government employees be reduced, तो सबसे पहले हमारे को यहाँ पे समझना पड़ेगा कि क्या क्वेश्चन है. क्वेश्चन क्या स्टेटमेंट है? स्टेटमेंट है कि क्या जो हॉलीडेज दी जाती हैं गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉइज को, उनको हमारे को गिरा देना चाहिए, उसको लेस कर देना चाहिए. इट शुड बी रिड्यूस्ड. व्हेन द आर्ग्यूमेंट इज, उसका जो आर्ग्यूमेंट है जो उसको फॉलो कर रहा है वो ये कह रहा है, यस आवर गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉइज आर हैविंग मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ हॉलीडेज among the other countries of the world, among the other countries of the world. So यहाँ पे हम लोग क्या देख रहे हैं? What we can see here, that there is a comparison, and there is a comparison on the basis of other countries. So now, as you know, that if we are going to compare something, okay, here what the argument is, it is actually comparing one country with the another country. But is it giving us a comparative analysis? क्या यहाँ पे हमारे को कोई evidence दिया जा रहा है? Is there any evidence that has been provided that 50% of the countries have this much of holidays for the government employees? No, we are not able to see any comparison which is on statistical data. So it is just an hypothetical comparison which has been made between the other countries and India. So if we will take this argument, yes, our government employees are having maximum amount of holidays. So it is not the criteria of reducing the holidays of the government employees, because there are chances that even if a government employee, if they are working for a comparatively 100 days or 200 days in an year, but if their work is actually being completed in that particular tenure, then we don't feel the need of increasing the number of days. So it also depends on the work that is there, and not only the work, it also depends on the amount of pressure that the people are having. But does it depend in a comparative analysis of other countries? Other countries, the government officials may or may not have the same type of work which our country has, because their rules are different, their acts are different, their governance are different, their form of government in itself is different. So taking all these things into consideration, comparing it with other world countries is not the correct criteria to assist and to decide whether the government employees be reduced. So the first statement cannot be taken as a strong statement here. Let's try to understand the second statement also, the second argument also. The second argument says it will lead to increased productivity of government offices. So now if you say that it will increase the productivity of government offices, so if we are talking about government employees, and if the number of holidays has been reduced. So you have seen when you're talking about government employees, there are a lot of holidays that has been provided to the government employees based on their amount of work. But if the holidays are reduced, what does that mean? If the holidays are reduced, means the government employees will have to be present for work. So if they are going to be present in work, there are chances that they might do 10%, 20%, 30% of the work that they are supposed to do. So what does that mean? If they will do something, there will be increase in the productivity. Whether it will not increase the work, yes, it will increase the productivity. For sure, it is going to increase the productivity. So therefore, this argument that it will lead to increased productivity of government offices can be considered to be a correct argument. Not this argument, which is saying that our government employees are having maximum number of holidays among the other countries, because this cannot be taken as a logical argument for the statement कि दूसरी कंट्रीज में इतनी छुट्टियां नहीं मिलती हैं, इसलिए हमारे देश में भी छुट्टियां कम कर देनी चाहिए. This is not the correct argument for reducing the number of holidays of the government employees. But at the same point of time, if you are giving this argument that it will lead to increased productivity of government offices, this type of argument can be considered to be a strong argument. Therefore, the solution says a comparison with the system in other countries is no strong criteria. No strong criteria for taking a decision on the issue. No strong criteria for taking a decision on the issue. So argument 1 does not hold. Argument 1 is not correct. Also, reducing the number of days implies more working hours. This is very much clear that if you will reduce the number of holidays, you will increase the number of working hours per week, per month, and that will surely increase the productivity. That is surely going to increase the productivity. Hence, the answer for the question number 1 will be solution 1, solution B, meaning which argument 2 only follows, not argument 1, because this is a comparative analysis which is based on non-statistical data which cannot be taken into consideration, and comparison with others cannot be the realistic approach for taking an argument as a strong argument, my dear student. So that also has to be taken into consideration, that it should not be based on comparison, but based on the direct linkage with what? With the statement that has been provided. So how we will ensure that this is the correct argument? There are chances that you might also say that sir, ऐसा भी तो हो सकता था कि हम लोग इस argument को भी हम लोग assume ना करें, and we would have said that productivity से holidays का कोई relation नहीं है. The employees, if they are working best to the best of their efficiency during their working hours, then their productivity will be efficient. But you need to understand that if the government holidays are reduced, it is clearly meaning that the employees will be coming to work. So if the employees are coming to work, productivity will increase or not? Productivity will increase or not, my dear students? Yes, it will increase. Therefore, this argument is correct. Not because this is just an argument which is not directly linking between that what will be the outcome of it. But we can logically infer, we can logically argue saying that if you reduce the government employees, it will increase the productivity, and it is logically following the statement that is provided. Now, if you will read the statement again, should number of holidays of government employees be reduced? Yes, it should be reduced because it will increase productivity of government offices. Now you can see that it is logically following from the statement, and the answer and the argument which is being given for the statement seems to be more efficient and more stronger in comparison to argument number 1. Therefore, only option number 2 is following. I suppose you have understood that why is it so that we have taken into consideration only argument 2, not argument 1, because it is only comparing with the other countries, and this cannot be considered to be a strong criteria for taking a decision on the issue whether the holidays of the government employees be reduced. Okay, let's move on and let's try to understand another question so that you get a better idea as to how to follow statements and arguments, my dear students. Now, statement question number 2, statement says, should foreign films be banned in India? क्या हमारे को जो फॉरेन फिल्म्स हैं, जैसे कि आपकी मार्वल्स की कैप्टन अमेरिका, ठीक, एवेंजर्स एंड ये सुपरमैन, बैटमैन, या कोई भी फॉरेन फिल्म्स को इंडिया के अंदर बैन कर देना चाहिए? सो शुड फॉरेन फिल्म्स बी बैन्ड इन इंडिया? द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, द आर्ग्यूमेंट इज yes, they depict an alien culture which adversely affects to our value. Is it so that only जो foreign films हैं वो ही alien culture को introduce करती हैं? First question that should be there in your mind, whether this particular argument is somehow logically giving reasons to the banning of foreign films in India, they depict an alien culture which adversely affect our values. No, it is not on the alien culture which is going to adversely affect the values. Sometimes you do learn the different perspective of the society and the world based on the foreign films that we see. Therefore, this argument, which is saying that alien culture is going to adversely affect our values, cannot hold true, because there are people who are not well versed with the foreign films, and even after watching the foreign films, they are no they are taking into consideration our values, and they are not getting adversely affected by the films that are there. And there are chances that even the films that are made in Indian films, can adversely affect our values. So this particular statement cannot hold true. They depict an alien culture which adversely affect our values, cannot be the correct criteria, because it is based on somebody's own personal emotions, that a film can adversely affect your values. It is not the film. Film can never, because film is what it is, for only entertainment purpose. So if you showcase that by banning the film, you are going to stop adversely affecting any of the values of our country, then it is not the correct manner. That you cannot come to this particular conclusion that by banning the film, adverse effects on our values is going to be stopped. But this is rather an emotional argument which is based on the statement that foreign films adversely affect our values, which is not hold to be true. No, this is another argument which is saying that no, you should not ban the foreign films. Why? Because foreign films are of high artistic standard. High artistic standard. Is it the correct argument? Is it the correct argument to say that just because they have high artistic standard, that is why we should not ban it? It is not like that only the foreign films that are there in India coming, whether be it Marvels, whether be it any foreign films, they are only of high artistic values. There are films from India that are being shown in foreign countries also. So taking that thing into consideration, you cannot say that foreign films are just of high artistic standards, and that is why we should not ban them. This also is not the correct argument. So my dear student, what you have understood from this particular question is that even if the answer starts with an affirmative or a negative, then also both the arguments cannot be holding true. It is the reason that has been provided along with the argument which will give us a logical inference whether that particular argument can be considered to be true or not. So the solution for this argument, for this question number 2, which says that should foreign films be banned in India? It says that clearly foreign film depict the alien culture. That is true. They are going to get how they are living, how they are leading their life, what exactly is their culture, how the society is there. But it is going to help in learning more. It is not like that it is going to affect us adversely only. It is going to affect us in a positive manner also. So this argument is not a correct argument, because obviously it is based on emotion, it is based on biases, which cannot be held to be true and does not hold. Also, the reason stated in the argument true is not strong enough to contradicting the ban. Okay, so since it is also not strong enough, just because of high artistic standard, you are going to stop the banning of the foreign films is not the correct argument. So second argument is also not perfect for this particular question, which is stating that foreign films should not be banned. So therefore, both the argument number 1 and argument number 2 are not strong. So not strong. Therefore, the answer for this question will be neither argument 1 nor argument 2 follows. So closely look at this particular statement. Statement is asking that should foreign films be banned in India. First statement, based on emotional values and biasness. Second answer, no foreign films are of high standards. This is a vague statement which cannot be taken into consideration, because there are certain foreign films also which have which might not have high artistic standards, but still these films are getting lot of attention of the viewers in India. So this cannot be taken as a correct approach or correct argument for this particular statement. Okay, my dear students. So the answer for this particular question would be answer D. That is neither argument one nor argument two follows. Now let's try to figure out this question by your end. Okay. So you please apply your mind, my dear students, and let's try to figure out that should there be reservation of seats and post on communal basis. Communal basis का मतलब क्या होता है, my dear students? Communal basis means based on the society, based on the community, based on the religion, based on a caste. Do we have sufficient knowledge about this based on reservation of seats? Yes, do we have? We have that. The point here is that our country follows what? Our country follows a secular form of secular format in our constitution. We say that we are secular in nature, meaning which all the nations, all the religions, and all the castes are equal in the eyes of the law. Second is there shouldn't be any discrimination based on color, caste, creed, religion, race, etc., place of birth, etc. So first statement which says that it will check most of our intercommunal basis shall not be taken into consideration. Why? Because this particularly is saying which can be contradicted through the present knowledge of the laws that is applicable. The reservation on the basis of communal basis, it is not correct, and we have evidentiary arguments which suggests that reservation should not be based on communal basis. Second argument is correct. No, our is a secular state. Secular state means that it is going to be all the religions are considered to be equal in the eyes of law, and moreover, when we talk about intercommunal biases, mean conflicts within the community, reservation will increase its communal biases, because now one particular community will have reservation in regards to the seats and the post, and the other will not have. So there are chances that there will be increase in communal biases, because one is being favored and the other is not being taken into consideration. Therefore, argument one is very vague, which should not be taken into consideration, and it will be against the secular policy according to which no communal group is given preference over the another. So argument two is strong in nature. Therefore, the answer for this particular question will be option number B, meaning which only argument two is strong. I suppose you have understood the reason why is it so that we have taken into consideration no second argument, because it is actually based on evidence. We have past experience. We can argue that based on the constitutional mandates, our preamble in itself says that India is a secular state, and according to secularism, reservation of seats and posts on communal basis cannot be the basis of reservation. Only a reasonable classification is the method on which you have to provide reservation, and it should not be based on communal grounds. Therefore, the first option cannot be taken into consideration. Second, which says no, can be taken into consideration because our state is a secular state. So argument, the statement which is saying should there be reservation, the answer should be no. Yes, the argument is no, and our state is a secular state seems to be the correct argument in order to reject the reservation of seats on and post on communal basis. My dear students, I suppose you have understood that why exactly we have chosen argument 2, because it is a strong argument and there is a secular policy that is being followed in our state, and that is why option number 2 follows. Okay, so my dear student, last question for today, so that you can also get acquainted with the statements and arguments. And this particular question is actually going to assist you in understanding that whenever there are two options which is saying yes, can there be a chance that both the answers for the particular question or both the arguments for a particular statement can hold to be true? Should young entrepreneurs be encouraged? So it is saying that whether we should encourage young entrepreneurs. So one statement, what argument is saying? They will help in industrial development of the country. If you will increase the entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, it will increase the industrial development of the country. Yes, because the moment young entrepreneurs will be there, they will be manufacturing something, they will be doing some work. And when they will be doing something, they will be establishing industries in order to manufacture those units. And if that will, if they will, the young entrepreneurs are encouraged, then industrial development will also take place in the country. So the first argument seems to be correct. And on the basis on the same, let's try to figure out the second argument. They will reduce the burden on employment market. Can increasing the young entrepreneurs help us in reducing the burden on the employment market? The answer seems to be correct. The answer is yes. This will also reduce the burden on the employment market. Why? Because the moment entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs will be encouraged, they will be setting up industries. And when they will be setting up industries, they will be hiring people for their work to manage, to manufacture. And for that, they will be needing manpower. And when there will be a need of the manpower, the burden on the employment market will obviously get reduced, because there are new areas on which the people can work. So solution says clearly encouraging the young entrepreneur will open up the field for establishment of new industries. Thus, it shall help in industrial development and not only employ the entrepreneurs, but create more job opportunities for others as well. So by encouraging young entrepreneurship, we are not only developing industrial standards of the country, but at the same point of time, we are reducing the burden on the employment market. So both the arguments against the statement that has been provided seems to be correct. Therefore, the answer for this particular question will be option E, which says that both argument 1 and argument 2 are strong arguments. My dear students, आपने 4 क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करे विच वाज रिलेटेड टू स्टेटमेंट्स एंड आर्ग्यूमेंट्स. आपने समझा कि किस तरीके से हम लोग सेलेक्ट करते हैं कि कौन सा आर्ग्यूमेंट फॉलो कर रहा है, कौन सा आर्ग्यूमेंट फॉलो नहीं कर रहा. हम लोग कैसे फिगर आउट करते हैं कि कौन से आर्ग्यूमेंट को हमारे को स्ट्रॉन्ग आर्ग्यूमेंट मानना है, कौन से आर्ग्यूमेंट को वीक आर्ग्यूमेंट मानना है. कोई भी आर्ग्यूमेंट जब based on biases होता है, which is vague, which do not have any logical inference that we can derive, we are going to consider it as a weak argument and we have to reject that argument. And on the same time, and on the same manner, if there is any argument which is logically inferring the statement that is provided, for example, in this particular question itself, young entrepreneurs be encouraged. Why? Because it will help in industrial development of the country. A contradiction would be that, sir, इसके अलावा भी तो और तरीके हो सकते हैं. Yes, there could have been other ways to increase the development of the country, but isn't it one of the ways by which we can help in industrial development of the country? Answer is yes. One of the methods, so that can be taken into consideration because it is a strong argument. And they will reduce the burden on employment market. So you can say, sir, young entrepreneurs, obviously when they will be there in the market, they will try to work by themselves. But is it going to assist them in employment? Obviously, without the workforce, without employment, new people bringing job opportunities, it is impossible for entrepreneur to grow. So that is why the moment more entrepreneurs are encouraged, it will by themselves reduce the burden over the employment market because new job opportunities will be created. And that is why option number 2 is following. So we have to logically connect the arguments and the statement, my dear students. And in the previous example, I'll tell you, when you were talking about reservation of seats on posts on communal grounds, now it was saying that it will check most of the intercommunal biases. So by providing reservation, can we be sure that intercommunal biases be reduced? I suppose it is actually contradicting. So the moment you are going to provide reservation to one particular community, then it is going to increase the intercommunal biases because you have provided one community reservation of seats and other, you are saying that you will not be provided reservation. So this is actually contradicting to the statement that is provided. सो आर्ग्यूमेंट कॉन्ट्रडिक्ट नहीं करना चाहिए, आर्ग्यूमेंट को क्या करना चाहिए, आर्ग्यूमेंट को कॉम्प्लीमेंट करना चाहिए. देयरफॉर दिस आर्ग्यूमेंट इज नॉट करेक्ट. And on the very next argument, should there be reservation on the basis of communal basis, we have reasons, we have logical evidence, we have factual evidence which showcases that our country is what? Our country is a secular country. And in secular country, we are not providing reservation on the basis of communal grounds. Therefore, second argument seems to be correct. And that is why the answer was option number B. In the same manner, when we talked about should foreign films be banned in India, there was a presumption that alien culture will adversely affect our values, but there is no evidentiary value of the same. So it is just a biased, a vague statement that has been given, which cannot be taken into consideration. And on the same ground, when we talked about the second argument, which is saying that no foreign films are of high artistic standards, so this cannot be a correct argument in order to ban a film or to leave the film from being banned. So that is why it is important to take into consideration that both the arguments are not actually following. So the answer for this question was option number D. So my dear students, I suppose आप लोगों को statement and argument के question solve करके मजा आया होगा. We are going to continue with this lecture series in our upcoming videos, my dear students. And I will assist you, I will tell you that this statements and arguments are going to be a very helpful and very beneficial areas. If you are able to get good control over this topic, statements and arguments, I can assure you that you are going to fetch good amount of marks, because this statement and argument is one particular area where the student often get confused, because here right now you are able to see the solutions. So might be that you are able to figure out that what is exactly the answer. But once this solution is removed and only the statements and argument will be in front of you, there is going to be a lot of confusion. There is going to be a lot of contradiction, and only based on our prior experiences, the tips that I have provided to you, and the types that we have discussed about the statement and argument, we have to keep that concept in mind when we are going to solve the questions, so that we are pretty much sure that the answers that we are getting are the correct ones. I hope this video seems to be beneficial for you, और मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि आप लोगों को और अच्छे टैक्टिक्स बताऊं और अच्छी चीजें बताऊं, जिससे आप अपने स्टेटमेंट और आर्ग्यूमेंट की जो तैयारी है कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशंस में, उसको और अच्छी से और एफिशिएंटली और फुल प्रूफ तैयार कर सकें, ताकि जब आपके सामने क्वेश्चंस आए कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशंस में तो आप बिल्कुल भी ना घबराएं. यू आर नॉट एट ऑल वरीड about what type of questions are there, because you are well prepared for that particular question to be answered. With this, I would request you to continue on practicing the questions which is related to statements and arguments, not only statements and arguments, but on other topics also which are there in your syllabus of your competitive examination, and ensure that you are being consistent with your practice, because it is a very common saying that practice makes a man perfect. So if you will continue on practicing the questions also, so you will by yourself become very efficient, and you will be very confident while attempting the questions. Thank you so much, my dear students. You have a very wonderful day. Bye-bye and take care.